everyone. I hope your art supplies are out and ready to go because I've been looking forward to painting this little study with you today.
To paint our ocean wave, we're going to need some white, yellow, blue, and raw umber. We'll start by making our little sketch with some diluted raw umber. We're just going to place a few lines just to indicate where the sky will end, where the wave will begin, and where the beach goes in. So I'll just put a few dotted lines here and there to show where the wave curls over at the top. And a little line in the middle just to indicate the bottom of the wave. And then this is the shoreline where the foam is going to wash up on the beach. We're going to block in the sky with a mixture of cobalt blue and titanium white. We put more white towards the horizon and less towards the top of the sky. We're going to skip down to the middle of the wave now while we've still got that same color on our brush, and we'll add a little bit more white to the mix and a tiny touch of yellow, and then we'll just block in the whole wave using that turquoisey color that we've created. I'm just doing very rough strokes because it is a wave and water is moving all the time, so it wouldn't be completely smooth. We can add some more cobalt blue to that mix. Be careful with the cobalt blue because it's very strong. A little goes a long way. Of course, if you used a different type of blue, that you can just judge that for yourself. We're just going to block in the ocean above the wave just to help us define where the wave is going to start. We just bring that color down to the top of the wave. Now we're going to mix together a lighter blue for that area of water just before the wave. This is the water that swoops up and starts to form the wave. But it's got a lot of foam in it, so we want it to have some white in there. So it's a lighter blue than the rest of the ocean. Now we'll make a mix of raw umber, a tiny amount of yellow, and some white for the sand. I didn't bother to clean the brush very well because I actually wanted a little bit of that blue to appear in the sand, because that would indicate the shadows where the water washes up on the beach. Then just blend it out with a soft brush afterwards. We can add some white into the sky to indicate some clouds. We just tap it in and sort of soften it around the edges and just fade it up into the sky. You can make your clouds look any way that you like. We're going to paint in the horizon now. You're going to add a little bit of raw umber to that cobalt blue mix of the ocean. We want the horizon to be a little bit darker towards the top and then getting slowly lighter towards the wave. This will create a bit of depth in our painting. I mixed up a little turquoise color using the cobalt blue, white, and a touch of yellow for the top of the wave. And I'm just going to add that in, just again, rough little strokes because water's moving and it doesn't have to be very smooth in this case. We can add a tiny touch of cobalt blue to that turquoise to make a darker turquoise, and we can just do a few strokes here and there underneath the lip of the water of the wave, just to add some interest in that area. Now down at the bottom of the wave, sometimes sand is kicked up into the water at this point where the water swoops up. So we're going to put a little bit of raw umber at the base of the wave. And you can see I'm just feathering it up into the wave, like following the motion of the water. It will go up into the wave before the wave curls over at the top. And I've darkened one side of the wave just to show that there's a bit more sand in that area. Brown color is still on your brush. You can add a little bit of darker brown to the corner of the sand to create more depth there. I'm just going to go back in with some of that darker brown and just keep adding it until I'm happy with the color of the sand at the bottom of the wave. We're going to mix together a light blue with our cobalt and white for the foam. We don't want it to be white yet. We want to leave the white till the very end for the highlights. So we're just making a light blue color. And I'm just dabbing the paint off in the foam, really just little blobs with the brush in a little dabbing motion. It doesn't have to be neat because of course the water's moving at that point and it's making a lot of foam. There also is going to be a lot of foam at the water's edge. So again, we're going to make some blobs along the water's edge, just with that light blue again that we did at the top of the wave. Here I'm just flicking that white paint up into the ocean. I'm making very messy lines because I want to show that the water's moving and tumbling along at that point. So just lines here and there, the messier the better at this point, because the water's very foamy in this area. Now you can just take your soft brush and just tap the foam areas and some of the wave areas with the brush. Just tap it in just to blend it, but not too much. We don't want stripes, we just want blobs. Now at the top of the wave where the water starts to curl over, the water makes a shadow on itself. So we're just going to darken that little area underneath the foam with just add a little bit of your raw umber to your turquoisey mix. That should give you a nice dark shadow for underneath the wave. And we can use that same color along the water's edge underneath the foam. Now for the part that we all love, putting the highlights on. You can take a soft brush and some pure titanium white and tap it in here and there over the foam to make those shiny bits where the light would catch. Just use a tapping motion again. Try not to blend it too much because it is water, as we've said, and there'll be a lot of splashing and mess going on. You can also put some splashes at the top of the wave where the wind would be blowing the water along. The same along the bottom, just at the water's edge, tap in some of those white highlights here and there. And to finish it off, just a few lines here and there where that water curls over at the top. Just use some white on your brush for this, because where the water curls over, there's little bits of white that catch the light too. And look at that, you can almost feel the salt spray on your face. Thank you so much for watching and for following along. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. And I'll see you in the next video. Oh, one last thing before I go. If you're enjoying videos on this channel, you might also like my friend Lucy's channel. She creates chronic illness-friendly sewing tutorials. There's a link in the description box below. Why not pop over and give her a visit too?